So welcome everybody to Gentle Yoga. I'm Leo Gray for Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. And those of you familiar with that place can see that I'm not there. I'm in Cozumel on a second story terrace. So we'll have some noise right on cue, a scooter ride spot. We'll have some background sound to contend with. If at any point you can't hear me well enough or something's unclear, you need to ask me something or tell me something, you can unmute and speak up. Coming to you from a little Bluetooth earpiece on my ear here connected to the laptop. So, and I need to add in too to tell for the folks watching later on YouTube to visit us at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook or at urbanyoga.org on the web to check out our class schedule and visit the tip jar where you can make contributions to support our Zoom classes. So, we're going to actually start out today on our backs in a reclined posture. You can plant your feet, come down on your forearms, come down onto your back, and it'll give you a couple options. You could bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay open like this. If that's too much in the hips or legs, you could just rest the soles of your feet on the ground, let your knees lean towards each other. Either way is fine. Your hands could rest on the ground or come to rest on your body, maybe feeling the movement of your breath, feeling your heartbeat, maybe both. If you want to, close your eyes. Take the first couple of minutes to just land here in the starting posture, making whatever adjustments you need to feel comfortable. Noticing your contact with the ground. Observing the movements of your breathing and the way those movements feel in your body. How the sensations of your breath change as your breath slows down and gets deeper. And all it takes to deepen and lengthen the breath is just getting still and relatively quiet and just noticing your breath slows it down. Notice whatever other sensations are present in your body right now as we start. Scan your body. Make particular note of anything that doesn't feel so good. If there's any stiffness or any soreness going on, you might think of sending your breath into such trouble spots. And also make mental notes of any such issues so that you can keep them in mind during our practice. Remember, you're welcome to skip or modify anything that you do in order to accommodate what's going on with your body today. Everything's optional but the breathing. I'll offer choices along the way. You're always welcome to do less than what I'm doing. You're also equally welcome to do more than what I'm doing. And if you want to set an additional, more personal intention for practice, you could take the time to do that now. Let that form up and sink in. With our intention set, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sighing sound. If your eyes are closed, let them open up. If you have the soles of your feet together and your knees splayed out, bring your hands to the outside of your legs. Let your arms help your legs. Push your knees up towards each other. Let the soles land on the mat. Draw your knees up to your chest. Hug your knees and rock back and forth or roll in circles. Massage your back against the floor. Movements feel good in your back. Fine. The wrong way to explore movement. Just letting in a friend who is running a little late. Welcome, friend. And take some big full body stretches. Inhale, reach your arms and legs all the way out, reach your hands away from your feet. And exhale, curl up in a ball. And take a few more breaths like that. Use a whole inhale to lengthen and a whole exhale to contract. And at the end of your next exhale, now let's play with reaching the legs up. So just find length. Don't worry about the legs being straight. Don't even worry about the angle. Just find length. And you can use your hands to support your legs, or let your hands rest on the ground. Let the legs work more. Engage the core a bit. Move your feet apart a little. Make circles with your feet. Start to open your ankles up. Or maybe more random movements with the feet to loosen up the ankles. Draw your knees towards your chest and let your knees just float around on their own. Little passive opening in the hip socket here. Just let the weight of the leg rock around in that hip socket. Let's take an energizing twist. So let the sole of your right foot down. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Make a figure four shape with your leg. Reach your arms out to the side. Feel your shoulder blades press to the ground. Keeping your shoulders on the ground, let your legs fall to the right and turn your head to the left. And don't worry about how far your legs go. Try to keep your shoulders grounded. Come back up to center and switch your legs up. Plant your left foot, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Let your legs go to the left and turn your head to the right.
Oh.
Slowly come back up to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest again. Hug your knees. And we'll start to sit up. Two ways to get there. You might rock front to back and roll your spine on the floor. If that doesn't feel good for you, instead you could just tip to one side, plant your hands, and use your arms to press yourself up to a seat. We'll all meet sitting up, get there in whichever way is better for you. You don't have to sit the other way I'm sitting. Sit so that you're comfortable. Have a sip of your water whenever you need to. It is hot and humid here. However you're sitting, kneeling works too. Feel into the grounding contact with the floor, whatever's touching the floor. And think about the length of your spine, so you're sitting or kneeling nice and tall without being rigid or stiff. Think of the crown of your head reaching up. And let's start to loosen the neck with some slow, gentle circles. Let your chin come down towards your chest and really take your time. Roll your ear towards your shoulder. Let your head sit back. Look up towards your ceiling. Other ear to your other shoulder. And just go nice and slowly. If you come across a spot that's particularly tight, maybe you pause there and go back and forth a little. Release some of that tension. Generally, overnight when we're sleeping, our necks get stiff to some degree. And even if you've been up for a while, if you haven't deliberately stretched yet, the stiffness can still be there hours later. And at some point, would change direction and make circles the other way. Maybe you already changed direction. Maybe you've done this before. If you've never been to Cozumel, it is a place full of scooters. Those tiny motors and high-pitched horns are just part of the sound here. They refer to them as mosquitoes, which also are not uncommon. Thankfully, I have a breeze and have no mosquitoes out here today so far. When you finish the next circle, look forward again. Bring your hands out to your sides, rest your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, reach your right arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach across to the left, lean into the left hand. Feel the lengthening from your right hip all the way up through your right fingertip. With an inhale, bring yourself upright. As you exhale, we'll come into a twist. Bring that hand down to the floor behind you. Bring your left hand over to your right leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, see about twisting some more. Just see how much twist feels like enough for you with each breath. And invite your body to go further. Don't try to make it go further. Enough might be far less than the furthest you can possibly go. Let yourself unwind, face front. Inhale and reach your left arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach across to the right. Feel for that lengthening all up the left side. Inhale to bring yourself upright. As you exhale, come into your twist. Left hand to the floor behind you, right hand to left leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. One side might feel easier than the other. That's all right. One side might go farther than the other. That's fine. And let your twist unwind. Face front again. You can rest your hands on your knees or thighs. We'll take some seated cow and cat-like movements. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back. Let your head tip forward and down. Just follow your breath. We don't have to go at the same speed. Your breaths may be shorter than mine. They may be longer. My breaths tend to be longer than most folks. Part of that is from doing this for a living, and part of that is from playing brass instruments from fifth grade through high school. And after your next exhale, sit up nice and tall again. And we're going to do some loosening up for our feet and our legs here, letting them be passive. So whichever leg's in front of the other one, hoist your leg with that hand, same side. With the other hand, slide your fingers between your toes. Your fingers are only between your toes. Tricky for those with the hand trying to get the pinky finger in by the pinky toe. And roll your ankle. So let your ankle be limp. Let your hand move your foot around. So it'll feel different than the circles we did lying on our back. Try to let the foot and the ankle be really relaxed and let the hand just gently nudge the foot around. Change direction at some point. And then release those toes. Now use both hands, both arms to support this leg. Maybe you grip like this, but you don't have to. Whatever grip works for you, so that the leg hangs into the socket, and make some circles, rocking the femur and the hip socket, the biggest joint in your body, just slowly and gently. Again, this will feel different than when we're on our back, trying to let the leg float. It's easier to let the leg be passive when the arms are supporting it, right? Taking some circles in each direction. Let that leg down and pick up the other one. Grab those other toes, get your fingers all smushed in there among the toes, and nice and slowly move your foot around in circles. At some point, change the direction of your circles. Release your toes, support your legs, whatever grip works for you, and start some nice, gentle, slow circles with your legs. And let that leg down. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So you might rock forward to do that, or you might tip to one side, however you want to get there. Open your hands way up. Feel your whole palm on the ground. Bring your shoulders above your wrists, your hips above your knees. We call it table pose or box pose. So think of these squared off shapes. Don't expect to have any actual right angles in your body, but stacking the joints is some nice stable support. You take a few cow and cats in the traditional way. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up, let your head and tailbone come down. Just like before, follow your breath. Don't need to match pace with me or anybody else. And after your next exhale, come back to table with your back sort of parallel to the ground. Reach your right foot back, press the ball of your foot against the floor, push your heel away from your tailbone, feel the leg lengthen. With an inhale, reach your left hand forward, thumb pointing up. And maybe, if you like, with an inhale, pick up the left foot, reach straight back through your heel. If you want to go further here, you might bend that raised leg, reach back with that hand, and see if you can connect with your foot or your ankle. If you connect with the bind, kick against your hand, lift your knee, lift your chin. Release the bind. You've got to let your knee and head down. And if you don't get the bind, it's still fine to bend your knee, reach back there. Reach back, press into the ball of your left foot. Take a couple breaths. With an inhale, reach your right hand forward. And with an inhale, pick your left foot up, straight back if you want, or maybe you keep the foot on the floor. If you like, bend that leg, reach back, see about the bind. There was a time I couldn't get this bind. I would just flail around trying to find my foot. That's part of the process. When I see people get their foot on the first try, knowing they haven't done it before, I'm always very happy for them. It was not me. Releasing any binds, let your knee and hand back down. We'll come to child's pose. For a minute, bring your big toes to touch. Send your knees wider apart. If your knees trouble you, keeping them together might feel better. Towards your heels. Walk your hands forward. Let your head come down. Rest your hands on the floor. You want your neck to disengage. You want your head supported by something. If it doesn't reach the floor, you might stack your hands and rest your forehead on the back of your hand. You could also put a pillow here or yoga block if you've got those handy. And to let your shoulders disengage, you can pass it if you wanted to by reaching your hands back by your feet instead of reaching your hands forward. So sometimes that's nice depending on what's going on in your arms and shoulders. Feel your upper body expand as you breathe in. As you breathe out, think of settling back and down in the hips. So maybe there's a little movement, maybe it's just a thought. And we'll start modified child pose. So if your hands are reaching back, reach them forward again. Inhale, come forward and up. Back to the table, back onto your hands and knees. Just for a moment. Now let's step the right foot up between the hands. Doesn't matter how many steps it takes to get there. Now if you have yoga blocks, putting blocks under your hands can make that an easier transition. Bring your hands to your knee or your thigh. Lift yourself up so your torso is upright. And now we can pause here and adjust for steadiness. If you feel wobbly, maybe you take up more of the width of your mat. If you stack the front knee above the front ankle, the back hip above the back knee, and check that back leg so that it's in line behind the knee. Mine was off towards the center, so that was making me a little more wobbly. We'll start rocking motion for the hips. Exhale, sink forward. Inhale, glide back. And you can keep your hands on your knee, or you can play with lifting one or both arms up, and as you sink forward, draw them down to cactus shape. And you can always bring your right hand to the right leg if you start to topple or just feel too wobbly. And then from the top of that movement, let's twist. Reach your right hand forward, reach your left hand back. Now, if you start to wobble, right hand can always find the leg. Steady yourself that way. Come back to center, maybe hands at heart or hands to the leg, and then twist to the right. Left hand forward, right hand back. Come back through center. Bring your hands down on either side of that right foot, and step your right knee back down to the floor. Step your left foot forward. Take your time. Lift yourself up. Find steadiness. Check the alignment of things. When you're steady, exhale and forward. Inhale, glide back and up. And then if you want, you can add in the arm movement. Arms coming down as you go forward. Arms going up as you come back. Exhale. Inhale. Movement and breath flowing smoothly, continuously. The movement can be as big or small as you want. Maybe you don't rock forward as far as I'm going. And then let's twist to the right. And come back to center. And twist to your left. Come back to center. Bring your hands down to the floor and step your right foot forward so you can press into the balls of your foot. Step forward. It's okay if it takes more than one step. Hang out and forward fold. Arms and head heavy. Play with movement here. Bend and straighten your legs. Your hands may hang in the air. Drag them down like I am. I'm like here. Bring my fingers back. You might hold your elbows. A lot of poses like this. Or clasp your hands at the base of your skull and give some traction for your neck. Swaying to the degree it feels good, bending and straightening your legs to the degree that feels beneficial for you. Letting everything across the back of the body lengthen. Your head weighs 10 to 12 pounds. Think of that weight. Think of that lengthening your neck. Let that weight hang. And gently nod your head yes. And shake your head no, nice and slowly. Inhale, lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs and push against your legs. Feel for the crown of your head reaching forward, away from your tailbone, back lengthening out parallel to the ground. Roughly. Exhaling, relax down. Inhaling, slowly roll to standing, float your arms up overhead, bring your hands together. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands hang at your side. Lift your left shoulder up toward your ear. Shift it back and let it down. And then your right shoulder up, back, and down. Inhale, reach straight out to the sides like you want to tap the walls with your fingertips. Shoulder blades and hug yourself. Or if you like, you can come to eagle arms. Eagle is when we intertwine the arms and press the palms together. If you take eagle, then move your elbows and hands up and forward. Either way, you're opening the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, spread your wings. As you exhale, cross your arms the other way. Whatever works, grab your shoulder blade or reach towards your shoulder blades, or take eagle. You can grab your shoulder blades, some can't. We're all built differently. Inhale to open up. Exhale, twist to the left. Take a full breath. Inhale back to center. Exhaling, twist to the right. And take a full breath. Now come back. Exhale, let your arms down. Now your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Put your palms up and look up at your hands and lift up your heart. Maybe your hips drift forward. Maybe your head drifts back. I often call these back bends. I prefer to think of them as heart openers. Yes, your back is bending, but the energetic aim here is to open the heart, the space where the lungs and the heart live. With an inhale, bring yourself upright. With an exhale, bend to your right. Feel the length through both arms. Try not to lift your left heel or let your left shoulder curl forward at your ear. Inhale, come back up. Exhale to bend to the left. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, let your arms come down. We'll start into some sun salutations, going at it nice and slowly because this is gentle class, and we're not going to do 20 of them or anything. We'll do 2, maybe 3. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, Fold forward. Peg your hands and step back to plank. Now plank might be like this on the balls of your feet and your hands, or you could make a shorter plank with your knees down if that works better for you. Either way, let your hips come down in line with your shoulders and either your heels or your knees, depending on whether knees are raised or lowered. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down, elbows in close to your body. Just see how slow you can go. Slowly is the relative term. Come down on your belly, untuck your toes, rest your chin on the floor. Pressing into your hands, inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest, maybe just a little, maybe just a low cobra, whatever height of heart opener works for you. So each time we come through this sequence, you can open your heart like this. Anywhere through this range we call cobra. This we call upward dog. We'll listen to your lower back and just come up to the height that's right for you on each pass. Exhaling, rock back, pass through table. Curl your toes under, press into your feet to lift your knees, press into your hands to lift your tail, and there's downward facing dog. Pedal your feet up and down, finding more length in the back of the body, heels getting closer to the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. There was a time I never thought I'd get my heels on the floor. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhaling, step your feet to meet your hands. Back to forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale down. Make your way to your plank. We won't stay as long in the plank. So let's see this time, maybe lower it just halfway down, elbows in close, drop your knees if you like. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your feet forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, up. You're going to take a break soon, don't worry. Exhale, down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Make your way to your plank. You could go right from plank to down dog if you like. Otherwise, exhaling lower halfway. Inhale to bring your heart forward. Then exhale back and up. And in downward facing dog, take 3 cleansing breaths. Let your knees come down. Make your way to child's pose again. Settle in. Vary your child's pose however you like. It can be active or passive or less engaged. Think back to the previous child's pose and see if you can note differences between how this one feels and how the first one felt. Maybe the breaths are bigger. Maybe you're sitting back a little lower than before. Maybe you're just appreciating it more. Glad to not be in downward dog. Downward dog can be a tough relationship. When you're new and someone says it's a resting pose, you think they're insane. And with continued practice one day, you may understand firsthand what that means. Or maybe you just won't for that pose. Everyone's got their favorites and the ones they don't like so much. The ones that challenge us more are not to be avoided, but to be worked on or played with. I like to think of it as playing. Who wouldn't rather play than work? I know I would. Playing is my work. That's how I see it. Inhale, bring yourself forward and up onto your hands and knees. And we're going to go from table to seated. So you can cross your ankles here, walk your hands in towards your knees, and just like when we came out of seated position to come onto hands and knees, two different ways. You might roll over your ankles, or you might get up and swing your legs around. Because maybe rolling over your ankles looks crazy or just doesn't feel good. So for our first forward fold here, we want to extend the legs forward and flex your feet back toward you. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold down toward your legs. Here, if your knees want to bend, just let them bend. And see what your breath might do here. Maybe your breath can help deepen the fold. As you inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. As you exhale, think of lowering. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs. Let your arms do most of the work there to help you sit up. And now let your arms keep helping your legs. Nudge your legs apart to whatever degree works for you. Finding the edge of your own comfort zone. This is further than my legs used to go. Yet not as far as some folks go. Who cares? Between you and your body. Let your arms keep helping your legs. Bend your right leg. Bring your right foot over here by your left thigh or maybe left knee if the thigh doesn't work. Pivot your torso. Aim your sternum at your left foot and flex your left foot back towards you. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhaling, fold down over that extended leg. And again, see what your breath might do. Inhaling, think of the crown of your head coming forward. Exhaling, think of lowering down. And we're going to explore some variation here now with some, and, keeping the right hand, reach your left hand out to the side and turn your head. See if you can follow your hand with your eyes. And then rotate your arm. Turn your thumb so it points down. Then bend your elbow. Reach across your lower back with the back of your hand. So think of reaching towards your right hip. Maybe you touch there. Maybe you take them. Or maybe somewhere in between. And then peel your left shoulder back. I almost said sternum instead of sacrum. There's no way you're going to reach your sternum going in that direction. Extend your arm again. Undo that rotation. And slide that left hand back over by the right hand. Take a couple breaths. We'll explore some variation over to the other side. Sweep your right arm out. Turn your head to follow. Rotate. Turn your thumb down. Same kind of bind. Bring the lower hand, back of your hand to your lower back or towards opposite hip. Peel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm again. Undo that rotation. Reach your arm up alongside your head, over towards the other arm. So this sequence is great for undoing compression we get in the lower back from sitting a lot. And most of us have been sitting more these past several months, spending lots of time on Zoom and lots of it not doing yoga, right? Or sitting and looking at a screen that's not Zoom, right? Lots of Netflix and other such things. Lots of FaceTime. Maybe reading ebooks. Lots of screen time, lots of sitting. Reach your arm up and back out to the side. Take your time, sweep it back over to meet the other hand. And walk your hands up your leg, sit up. Let your arms help extend the right leg. Then the left one, bring the foot across, pivot your torso, flex your right foot back towards you. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, fold down. Take a few breaths, see if the fold deepens for you with the action of the breath. And take your time, sweep your right arm out to the side, turn your head, look towards your hand, turn your thumb down, bend your elbow, see about that half bind, back of the hand going to sacrum or opposite hip or somewhere in between, and feel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm, turn your thumb up, slide that hand back over, try the other hand, take a couple breaths. And open your left arm towards the side, turn your head, look towards your hand, turn your thumb down, bend your elbow, check out the bind, feel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm, turn your thumb up, reach your arm up alongside your left ear and over towards your right arm. Slowly reach up and out, slide your arm back over, left hand rejoins the right. Walk those hands up that right leg. Let your arm up, extend your left leg, nudge your legs in towards each other and bring the soles of your feet to touch a big distance away. So there's this big space between your heels and your pelvis here, a diamond shape inside the leg. Now, if you can, reach your hands under your ankles and grab your mat. If you can't do that, just reach over your ankles and grab your mat. Either way, you're going to walk your hands forward using traction in the arms to come down into this pretzel-like fold. And make sure to include your neck in this by letting it disengage, let your head drop down. Breathe into the center of your lower back, that area above the sacrum that we're just targeting with a previous sequence. Forward folds, any variation of forward fold, are also great energetically for alleviating depression. And depression doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be clinically diagnosed. It doesn't have to be just the seasonal winter stuff. Any kind of depression. Forward fold help a bit. Slowly start to scoot your hands back. Use your arms to press up from the floor. Sit up. We'll do one more fold. Keep the feet together. Now bring them in as close as you can. Heels in close towards your pelvis. Interlace your fingers. Grab the tops of your toes like that. And wriggle on your feet. Bring the bones in your feet closer to the floor. Tilting your pelvis forward. Maybe flap your butterfly wings. Other people I've noticed like to do this when they get here. Get to feel good in the hips. Inhale, lengthen up to the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Fold forward with your spine long at first. See how far down the long spine might go. When it's not lowering, then let the neck go. Let your head dip. And breathe into your hips. Maybe your elbows press the inside of your legs downward, nudging your hips open. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. And one more time here, let your arms help your legs. Push your knees towards each other. It's like holding a book. Soles of the feet come to rest on the mat. Plant your hands on the ground. Wiggle your feet further apart, maybe to the edges of your mat. And let your knees go back and forth to whatever degree they will. So maybe your knees touch down like that. Maybe they don't. Maybe as your knees go one way, turn your head towards the other side. So your knees and head past that center. That might feel nice. Ooh, that might give you a crack in your lower back like I was just treated to. Now bring your feet in closer. You want to do this with your fists and then put your fists between the tops of your feet. This is about the same distance you have between your hip sockets. So now we'll get your ankles lined up about the same hips. You're going to play with bridge pose with your hands, with your feet planted, scoot your butt towards your heels. Bring your hands behind you, come down onto your forearms, head down onto your back. You wind up on your back with your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. And for bridge pose, you press into the soles of your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up. There's your bridge. We'll take a few breaths in the first one. To open your heart further here, you might want to wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other. Clasp your hands under you. Reach your knuckles towards your heels. Make sure you're not scrunching up your neck, which we're prone to doing, whether we're doing this bind or not. Neck should be relaxed in either variation. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them. Exhale, slowly let yourself come on down. And then explore bridge for a minute as you like, so you can find your own challenges. The basics are to inhale and lift up, exhale and come down. To make it more challenging, you can see about going up higher or moving more slowly or taking extra breaths at the top. You might even repeat, bringing your shoulder blades towards each other, taking that bind. Or maybe what your body's calling for is some extra breaths at the bottom of the movement. Take your extra breaths wherever you like. Inhaling up, exhaling down, challenging yourself as you like. Really, the last bit of effort is this minute playing with bridge. The rest is just cooling down. And wrap up your bridge exploration in the next couple breaths. After you've lowered down for the last time, pause, take a couple breaths, regrounding on your sacrum. And we'll see about a deeper twist here for the closing twist. So we crossed our ankle over our knee before. Let's see about crossing knees. So if you can cross your left knee over your right knee, that's great. And if you can't, you could repeat what we did before, cross your ankle over your knee instead. Reach your arms to the side, so your shoulder blades press to the ground. Let your legs go over to the right and turn your head to the left. So you can keep those shoulders grounded. Let your breath ring you out in your twist. Come on back up to center and switch the cross of your legs. Right knee over left knee, or if that doesn't work for you, right ankle over left knee. Let your legs go left, turn your head to the right. Let your shoulders stay grounded. And come back up to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest. Hug your knees. Rock and roll to massage your back against the ground. Whatever movements feel good. And reach your feet towards the ceiling. Reach your hands up to take hold of your legs or feet, whatever way works for you. And play with bending and straight, exploring movement and happy baby pose. So maybe they're big movements like this. Maybe they're smaller movements. Maybe they're slower. Maybe they're faster. Sometimes it's fun to just extend up and rock a little. If there's a different inversion you'd prefer, please feel free to invert however you like. An inversion is any posture where your legs are higher than your heart. It allows for some nice helpful drainage of the lower extremities. So here, especially the movement is secondary. Maybe you fancy something different like a shoulder stand or a plow. Some of us like to play with headstands, handstands, but that's not for gentle class. Nothing gentle about a headstand, even when you're well practiced in it. You can invert as long as you like. When you feel complete, make your way to Shavasana. So we use this word in two ways. One is to name this pose, which is called corpse pose in English, which is legs extended, feet splayed open, hands resting by your side. But Shavasana is also this state that we come to of restful stillness, where we integrate the benefits of practice. And it's more comfortable than it is to be in corpse pose. So if it's not comfortable for you to lie flat like this, make yourself comfortable. Other options are to come back where you started this practice with the soles of your feet together and knees splayed open. Nice grounding in the lower back. Even more passive than that would be to let the soles of your feet rest on the floor, your knees lean in towards each other. Maybe you started that way. That was our other starting option today. And these are just some options. Sometimes it's nice to continue inverting by coming over by a wall or a piece of furniture, resting your legs up on the furniture of the wall for support. Some people like to conclude practice in a seated meditative posture, wherever you can be comfortably still. All you really need to do is breathe. Maybe you focus on your breathing as a nice, simple meditation. Perhaps picturing the edges of your nostrils where the air enters and leaves your body. Maybe you come back to an intention you had set for yourself at the start of our practice today to reflect upon it. How well did that intention serve you in practice? How might you extend that intention into the rest of your day when you're done here, carrying your practice of yoga off the mat and into the rest of the day? Maybe you don't focus on anything at all. Just let your mind go. Give it permission to wander, which has a different effect when we choose to do it than when our minds just wander when we're trying to focus on something. And not choosing to focus doesn't mean we try not to think. It's about letting go of the trying. Just breathing and breath slowing down and getting deeper, just as it did when we began today. Bits of excess remaining tension melting away into the mat, disappearing into the ground with each exhale. Start to find some deeper breaths, deliberately even deeper than the slow, deep breaths you've been taking. Nice and slowly begin moving around, wiggle your toes and your fingers. These will all just be suggestions. Maybe roll your ankles and wrists, gradually letting the movement get bigger. Perhaps turning your head side to side, starting to move legs and arms more. When you're ready for bigger movements, a nice, gentle and simple way to get up from corpse pose is to draw your knees towards your chest, extend your arms overhead. Just let the weight of your legs tip you onto one side and pause in a fetal position. As Shavasana means corpse pose, coming through fetal position is like a rebirth through practice. When you're ready, you can plant your hands and press yourself up to your feet. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for sharing in practice today. The light within me sees and honors and bows to that light within each of you. Namaste. And again, for those watching the video later, or anyone who came in late, I'm Leo Bray, coming to you on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. Today, not in Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center as I usually am on Wednesday. I'm in Cozumel, where it's gorgeous and hot and humid. Please visit us at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook to stop by the tip jar where you can make contributions to support our Zoom classes. Check out the rest of our schedule. We have classes every day. And for the Palm Springs folks, Thursday through Sunday morning, we're in Ruth Hardy Park where you can practice with us in person, at a distance, with a mask, of course, and all that stuff. If you like, it's fun. Questions and feedback are always welcome. That goes for the folks on YouTube, too. Have a wonderful day.